Welcome to today's Customer Service Excellence Local Authorities Roundtable. It's hosted by Assessment Services. For those that haven't met me, I'm Richard Adkins. I'm the Systems and Finance Director at Head Office at Assessment Services, and I'm joined by my fellow assessor, Lorna Bainbridge. I'm sure you all know Lorna at some point, or you've met with Lorna.
No.
So the session is being recorded and it will be shared on the Assessment Services community. So you're welcome to revisit it or share it with your colleagues within your organisation. Anyone that doesn't have access to the community, just want to just let me know and I'll provide access to you straight after the discussion. Alternatively, if anyone in your organisation would like access, again, please let me know. There's no additional cost for any of your colleagues to have access. So we can just provide a shareable link and they will have access to all the recordings and all the articles on the community. A bit of housekeeping. So we have allocated an hour for the session. So we will aim to finish for 3 o'clock. However, if anyone would like to continue the discussion after the main session ends, I can keep the meeting open for a little bit longer. But please feel free to manage your own microphone, but just be mindful of any background noises, etc. The purpose of today's session is to share experiences and learn from each other. And this links directly to element 4.2.4 of the standard, which is about developing and learning from best practice, and in some cases has led to benchmarking, which addresses element 4.2.3. So today's theme is on local authorities, and any local authorities have been invited to this discussion. And it's a specific sector roundtable with the aim to connect with your peers, share best practices, and explore current challenges within the local authorities. So we're going to jump into it straight away today, and we're going to have an open discussion. And the topic that we would like to look into is how do you keep your staff motivated to provide excellent customer service with restricted budgets and resources within your authority? So like I said, we'd like to just jump into an open discussion, and anyone's free to jump in straight away. But just as a reminder, that is, how do you keep your staff motivated to provide excellent customer service with restricted budgets and resources? Who would like to start?
I'm going to nominate Alice. I only spoke to Alice yesterday, and she's done some phenomenal things within Central Bed's planning department.
Yeah.
Okay, great, thank you.
We had our review yesterday, so yeah. Lorna has heard it all. One of the things that we keep our staff motivated. So I'm actually I'm a planning officer, so I'm one of sort of the peers and one of the employees as such. I'm not sort of manager level, not yet anyway, hopefully. The way our head of service and team managers keep sort of our staff motivated is by empowering us and allowing us to lead on projects that mean something to us. So for example, this customer service excellence, I lead on this as a volunteer for our service area because I'm quite passionate about customer service. And so that kind of helps with the restricted budget because it falls under sort of additional responsibilities to my day job, but it's something that I've volunteered for as well. So they've empowered me to lead on this with something I'm very, very interested in. And resources, I'm already a resource. They've just allowed me with my workload to take extra responsibilities on, and it's very much a discussion of how my workload is going. I would say that's one of the things that we do at Central Bedfordshire. I would say we have a very approachable management team. That also really, really helps with keeping the staff motivated, and we have working groups that everyone can get involved in, especially when it comes to customer service. We set up this year as part of the recommendation to do a working group for customer service. So again, that's volunteers from all other teams come in to the working group, and they are all listened to, they all bring in their suggestions. So I believe that sort of helps keep them motivated within their teams and within their roles. So just be interested if anyone else does anything similar that we do.
I think we're pretty much the same, to be honest. Obviously, we've got a bit of a challenge at the minute because as well as obviously the local government reorganisation, we are also going to be having a new council building, and our resources have sort of been cut a little bit because money's being ploughed into that, and it's really the same as what Alice has just said, as in we have regular meetings. We'll have a meeting every Wednesday morning with all the team before all our phones go on to the public, and I'll always sort of share everything I can share with them, and I will always ask for their involvement as well. So it's not just me preaching to the team that, right, I want you to do this, I want you to do that. I always want them to make suggestions of also how we can improve our customer journey, if you like. And they then also feel empowered that they are contributing to that. So yeah, I agree with what you've just said.
Yeah, I think what really helps to keep staff motivated is that they see changes based on their ideas and suggestions.
Yeah.
And it's as little as sort of, I do sort of quarterly, half-yearly presentations to the whole team, and I share all the really lovely compliments that they all get. I think quite often, especially when we focus a lot on complaints, I find in local government, we don't often share, these are the things you guys are doing well done, keep doing these things, rather than, you know, we've had another complaint, let's keep complaints down. It's more like, keep doing these wonderful things that you're doing. And I find that really helps to keep them motivated by praise. Personally, I do really well on praise.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Should I come in?
Mark? Yeah, sure. Great. Thanks, Mark.
I couldn't see a hand. Is there a hand in Zoom somewhere? Or no?
There should be. I think it's
There
in the
is.
React button.
Okay. I'll find it somewhere. I think it's really difficult, actually, at the moment, probably for all of us, to be honest, because we are certainly, I said a head up customer service operation for Oxford City Council, and we're being stretched in terms of budget, available the resources that we've got, yet the workload doesn't seem to go down very much. So I think certainly in the contact centre, it's been a real struggle over the last few months to maintain service levels, lots of calls queuing, longer wait times, etc. And for me, it's about trying to continue on to do the things that we're doing to help motivate people in a pressurized, because it is a pressurized job, particularly in the contact centre. You're picking up one phone after the other. So we try and make sure that they continue to have team meetings, one-to-one sessions with their managers, that, like you said, Alison, they get praise as well for the compliments that we get through, which I think is really important to feed that back. We also close the contact centre once a week for half an hour on a Thursday, and we have like a comms time session, so everybody can get together. We have guest speakers come in as well, or we will do stuff internally that we need to give back messages. So in a contact centre environment, it's really difficult to get people off the phones. You haven't got a lot of time, to be honest, available. So having that period works really well. We also have a face-to-face operation, so we're trying to develop our officers by allowing them to go out and do face-to-face stuff. And we also tie up with the food larders. So we have one of our customer service officers going into the food larders on a monthly basis, to really be there and be available for those people who are struggling really a little bit, have to go into the larder. So they might need help with their council tax or their benefits or something else. So yeah, I think that's really, really important. And most of my officers are working from home. So bringing them into the office sort of once a month and having a face-to-face team meeting, I think is really important, so that they can catch up, they can have that bond, they can have that discussion. And also being available for them if they've got any issues. So we use a bit of Teams, to be honest. So they do a bit of peer-to-peer stuff. So we also have a duty manager who's available all day to answer queries on the phone. But the team site works really well because they can get their colleagues to help them with any questions that they've got. So that actually works really well as well. So just a few things from my side.
That's great. Thank you, Mark. Isabel?
So I'm in our local authority, so I work for the City of London. So it's not the whole of London, but purely the square mile. So we are the second smallest local authority in the country. So our team is very, 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 very small. So I'm the lead for early years and the FIS manager. And we have one family information service officer. I have one early years advisor. So, as I say, our team is usually just one or two people in each team. But just in terms of, and sorry, I'm in the office today, it's a bit of background noise, but what I do is with my team every year, we have, I buy them lunch, and we have a planning session, and we have a look at what do we want to change, improve, do differently. We do a big mind map on paper, and every team member actually, puts in ideas, but then puts their name next to the idea they want to take on board. And so there is no, well, I'm giving that idea, but I'm not doing it. Everybody, takes part, and that forms part of our overall plan to develop our service. But we've been doing that for a couple of years, and I've noticed that that's made a real difference, because people, and I think Alice, it was you, saying that when people see the difference it makes, when you really listen to the idea that they have, and you say, okay, love your idea, let's put it down, and then you put your name next to it and you go for it. And so they have my full support. I mean, there are limits to what we can. So at the meeting, we actually discuss whether it's realistic and what the timescale can be if it's realistic. But then they have a real ownership of the idea they've put in place. And that seems to work quite well.
And what would a typical example be for that? So as an example, for the next 12 months, what would you say as a potential improvement you could make?
Something really simple. It was in our outreach work, and I know I can't remember who talked about going out to service users. So one of our team member, family information service officer, said to get our message across, we have a lot on social media, but we don't have enough face-to-face contact with people. So he's actually contacted other teams who meet people on a daily basis to see if he could actually go with them and meet service users face to face. And we had to discuss, how often, so it wouldn't impact too much on other work he was doing. But he's going for it. He's designed, small cards that he can leave with, QR code to our website. contact details for people to contact us afterward. But yes, doing joint outreach with other team has worked quite well.
Okay, great, thank you. Does anyone else have any examples of improvements that they've sought for the next 12 months?
In what sense, Richard? Improvements as the organisation as a whole, or with a certain sort of topic in mind?
So the topic was how you're keeping your staff motivated to provide excellent customer service. Have you got ideas in mind how you can further improve upon that?
So one of the things we're doing is we're getting people involved in specific training, and we've joined up with can't remember who the company is now, but they run specific like courses on training. So AI is one of them, and data is another. So we are allowing people to, and funding, part funding those courses to allow them to get involved in those. And we have to allow them a certain amount of time each week as well to invest on that training course. And that, I think that really does motivate people, because it shows that we're actually investing in them as individuals. And it might be that actually they are in a different service area, that they can use those skills as part of their career path. So yeah, I think that's one of the things, really good things that we're doing across the council at the moment.
Yeah, that sounds great. Is anyone else doing anything similar?
Yes, I've just actually put it through. It's gone through on the training budget, where because we're also customer services and I manage the contact centre, so we deal with all sorts of service areas across the council, and our biggest one is council tax, and followed by housing. So all my team are quite knowledgeable in council tax, but some have expressed an interest to do a little bit more. So they're just about to enrol on the next group to do all the official IRRV technician courses, and they're really, they really want to do it, and they're looking forward to starting it, which I believe is January the next rollout. So again, it's just upskilling them all the time. And we will also, where housing is concerned, we'll have regular meetings with the various housing managers on what's going well between us, what's not going well, what can we do to try and improve things. We're just organising a few more online forms, which will help customer services and housing, and it will also hopefully reduce some phone contact as well, because they're going to go hopefully down the digital route.
I think that's the current route at the moment, a digital route, especially with artificial intelligence.
Yeah, not looked into that as yet, down the artificial intelligence part. Not gone that far.
We had a couple of networking chats earlier on in the year on artificial intelligence, and you'll be able to access them on the assessment services community. So I'd recommend having a look at that, because there's some real good examples provided of how other organisations are using artificial intelligence.
Oh, okay. Have a look at that.
That's of interest. Are any of you using AI at the moment? Mark, Alice, Isabel?
Yeah, so we are, like I said, I guess we're in the early stages, but we are really dipping our toe into the world of AI now.
Right.
Because as I said, we've got these courses running, so they're really for people who are a little bit more advanced. So we've sort of launched out Copilot as the free version, and then I think you can get Copilot as a more advanced version, which is licensed. So the people who are doing the course will get the licensed version, and then they're working on projects as well in relation to AI in their own service areas to help them with the evidence and that for the course, but will also help the organisation to improve processes, etc. So that's really, really good. So yeah, it's one of those things that's going to really ramp up, I think, in the next couple of years, isn't it, AI? And we've also been using RPA, so robotic process automation. So we have got a team, a few people who are experts in that have really been helping us. So they can process, like an example on our complaints, we've got RPA dropping it from the online form straight into our back office Arian system. So you don't have to then key the data, it just drops it straight in. So that's saving a lot of time in having to manually key information. It's just one example of how we're using it.
Brilliant.
Is anyone else using AI?
In my department, we're not, but as a wider council, there's a lot of talk about using AI sort of in different areas, children's services, in governance. They talk about Copilot as well. But in my department, planning, we haven't yet fleshed out what that could look like, but there's definitely conversations going on with the senior team about that.
Isabel, do you use AI in your service at this stage?
No, for the moment, very little. Just to design some flyers or text, but that's all. But I'm really interested in what Mark was talking about, and AI allowing information to be dropped directly into the system. I don't know, Mark, if you've got the time to explain a bit more how it works.
Well, it's more RPA, which so it's robots. It's and I'm no expert, by the way, but because I haven't programmed it all into work. But basically, it's using an automated robot to drop information. So everything that's within our online complaints form, each of the fields that are there. What we had to do before was once they had been submitted by the customer, we then had to go and key that information, each bit of that information, to create a case in our complaint system, in our Arian system. We no longer have to do that because the robot is taking each field, and it's doing something behind the scenes, automating it behind the scenes that drops it straight into our Arian system, creates the case, and then it's only based on exception we have to do anything. If for some reason it doesn't match the field or something like that, we'll get an exception report and then we would deal with that. So yeah, I mean, 90% of the time it's running through absolutely fine. So yeah, it's using robotic process, RPA, what we call it. Have a look. You can look it up probably and find out.
Okay.
But
yeah, thank you.
I couldn't talk you through how to do it, how to make it happen, I'm afraid, because I'm not the expert. But in the organisation, we're sort of going, well, can you do this with that bit of data and push it into there, and then they'll work on it as a project and make it happen most of the time. Pretty amazing stuff.
I'll have a look. Thank you very much.
Saving a lot of time.
For data analysis, AI is quite exceptional, especially if you've got reams and reams of data. It can export it so quickly, quicker than a human could ever analyze the data. Okay. Any other questions or feedback on that particular topic?
I've got a question for you. We talk about managing workload and supporting our colleagues. Any particular support for colleagues that are probably stressed and overworked? How's that managed within the organisation at the moment?
We've actually just had Lorna a whole day's training session to do with neurodiversity, which, and also a stress awareness course. So all managers have to have mandatory training on all that, but the neurodiversity one was a new one that's just been brought in, and it was really, really useful. It also sort of gave you tips on how you identify various things that are going on with staff, and it touched on autism and things like that as well. So not just stress awareness and this is what we can do, but we also have a counselling service where we can also refer staff to if they would like counselling sessions. So we do have that, and that has helped quite a few staff, not so much in my team, the odd one, but all across the council. I don't know if that's a regular thing that everybody else has.
Yeah, very similar for us actually, Tracy.
Yeah.
So we've got the same. We've got a counselling service that you can link into that's confidential. So and you can also get interviews as well with people, I think, with counsellors.
Yeah, we have
so
mental first aiders as well.
Yeah. Yes. So yeah, we've got that as well, and we've done something similar. So we've had training on the managers have had training on sort of very similar to you, sort of the different types of I guess challenges that you've got with different people's conditions and stuff. So but what I think is really important is knowing your people and understanding them as managers. I think that's probably the most important thing. You can do all the training in the world, but if you don't know somebody and you can't engage with them, then that's how you support them. I mean, we're not counsellors, are we? At the end of the day, we're managers. So I think all you can do is listen and signpost them to the right services that they need. And look at their individual situations. I guess when you talk about stress, is this stuff that we can be doing as managers to, they might need to do something a little bit different. It might be coming off the phones for a bit or doing some emails or just, there's a number of different mitigations you can put in place, I think, as managers. They might need longer breaks, for example. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think that's what's really important.
Yes, I know. I've just had somebody in my team that's it's personal issues. It's not work related stress, but the personal stress obviously then doesn't help. She's not, she can't focus on a job, and she was struggling to get in for 9 o'clock because she's on this medication and it's making her a bit sleepy. So, for an interim period, we've agreed that she doesn't start till 10. And just being a bit flexible where her hours are concerned and see how she goes. So things like that, reasonable.
You're going to get better out of her between after 10 than you would be from 9, aren't you? So it makes total sense.
Just as I say, it's a reasonable adjustment. So it's no biggie really for us that, but
It's great to hear that organisations have that flexibility and have an understanding of what people need.
I kind of echo Mark and Tracy, and we've got a whole wellbeing hub if we ever need it, which has so many resources for. We have mental health champions within the team, wellbeing champions. There's external companies that can help with sort of finance issues if it's anything personal. I think like Mark said, it's very much the managers knowing their staff and I think, I don't know how across how many councils do it, but we have flexible working, so we can work the hours that suit us and our personal lives, which really does help with stress levels. So for example, I'm an evening worker, and I find that keeps my stress levels low, because if I had to log in at 8 a.m. every day, I don't think they'd get the best out of me as I would between the hours of 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. So I think that helps to manage sort of stress as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
whereas I prefer to log in early and finish early. So, but you're right. I mean, the flexible working is really important, I think. I mean, unfortunately, the contact center guys don't get it as much
No.
because we're open between a set time, as those of you who run contact centers know, and we have to cover the hours. So, there's a certain level of flexibility you can have within those hours, but not a lot, to be honest. You have to have, we're open between 8 and 5, Monday to Friday. So we have to have people covering at 8, and we have to have people there till 5.
Right. Same.
But having the home working, I think, really helps. Having flexible working and flexible flex days that they're allowed as well really helps. And it's getting that work-life balance right, isn't it? I think as best you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, excellent. Okay, thank you.
I think you was all in agreement on that one. I can see you all nodding your head. Okay, great. So we'll move on to the next topic, which is complaints handling and learning. And what we would like to do is, if you could provide an example of how your organisation has turned a complaint into a service improvement opportunity. So that's complaints handling and learning. Examples of how your organisation has turned a complaint into a service improvement opportunity. Who would like to start?
I'll go, shall I?
Everyone thinking? Yeah. Okay. Great. Thank you, Mark.
So we've historically had quite a few complaints about our website, and I think people generally don't like websites much. So when you stick, I don't know what your experience is, when you stick surveys and things like that on there, you tend to find sometimes it's not necessarily about the website, it's about the service that's going on behind it sometimes as well. We'd had some complaints about the pages and the information and not being able to access the right forms, or not having online forms available to be able to access the channel in that way. So we've done quite a lot of work on redesigning the pages, particularly we're actually working through all of them at the moment, but it's taken a very long time. So we've just recently done our waste and recycling pages, and we've tested that, and they're all in place now, updated all the forms and everything. And we've started to see a bit of an increase in volume through the pages and a little bit of a reduction in calls, and also the satisfaction ratings coming up a bit. So I think that's a real good example of sort of turning out your complaints into how you can turn it around and try and improve, your offering and your services. You're on mute, Richard.
Sorry. How did you actually build on then? Did you go straight to the complainants, or was it a survey that you collected that feedback from, or was it?
It was a combination. So we had feedback through surveys as well about the pages, and also we'd had some complaints on the page, on the information that was there, and lack of some of the online forms that would have been useful. So yeah, it was building on that really, and trying to put that in place. I mean, there's still a way to go with some of this. We're still trying to update quite a lot of it, but certainly in that service, we've made some quite significant improvements.
Something similar that what we did in respect of phone calls was, in as you know, you will ring somewhere, you'll get your automated messages, and then it'll be press 1 for this, press 2 for that. And we was having quite a few customers, as well as counsellors, saying that our messages were too long. So they was being greeted with this message, and then before they even got to which option do you want, they were saying it was far too long. So we did do a bit of a redesign of our IVR telephone system, where we cut down the actual messages, recorded messages, as much as we could. And I can't remember now off the top of my head how many seconds we shaved off, but we did take quite a lot of that chunk away, which made it easier for customers to get through without listening to a load of waffle, as they would call it, before finally getting through to where they wanted to get through to. So yeah, that was probably be about 12 months or so ago now, I'd say, but that certainly helped, because we don't get nowhere near as many remarks about that now. So
interesting. Thank you, Tracy. Alice or Isabel?
Yeah, I was just having to think about something we've done in the last year. We noticed a trend in our complaints from neighbours. So if we make planning decisions, so if a neighbour's unhappy with a decision that's been made, whether it's been an approval or refusal, there's no official way of sort of complaining or appealing against a made decision within the planning legislation. So we get a lot of complaints through our actual complaints process about neighbours' comments not being addressed. So we've had a big training session over the past year about how we address neighbour comments within our officer reports. So that gets checked at every level of sign off from the team manager. So every planning manager has to sign off all the cases that are recommended by the planning officers. So there's been a real training sort of opportunity for officer reports, and really summarising those neighbour comments and making sure every single comment has been addressed. And I'm yet to find out if the complaints have sort of reduced from that.
Okay, good. Does anyone else have any? Sorry, Isabel. Everyone else has spoken. Isabel, and yourself?
Yeah, one of the things we changed, that it wasn't really a complaint, but a strong suggestion, that we had a lot on our website, we had documents, we had a lot of writing, and people felt that if we had more videos explaining a process, it would make things easier. So we've introduced 2 types of videos. We've had videos with real people talking. These are very good, but they take a lot of time, to create. You need to have a lot of permission. And so we've also done cartoon videos. So for example, one for admission process. And we found that now people don't, or look very little in the section on where the booklet, the written material is, but we've had a huge increase in people watching the video because they find it easier. So that's something we're exploring doing more of. I say we know that, having real people is great, especially if they share their experience, but it is a much longer process.
It's a good opportunity doing the videos, actually. Have you had any feedback on the videos itself?
Yeah, they really like the videos, and in a funny way, we had, and I don't know if it's linked to the topic, we've had a lot of positive comment about the cartoon videos, but it could be that it's not about the cartoon, that it's about the information it carries. So yes, we're looking into that.
That's great. I'd like to share an example from one what I've seen. Unfortunately, that council isn't here today. And I was assessing another council, and they acknowledged that some of their communication, I got a little bit lost in translation, and their service users and residents couldn't actually make out what their actual letters actually meant. It was a little bit unsure. And they actually turned some of these complaints into a service improvement opportunity by they put all their communication staff through a plain English training method, and everyone in their in that communications team went through a plain English letter communication training. So they all adopted that, and then they've tried to enroll that across all of their service that was going through certification. So that was a really good opportunity that they've undertaken. That same organisation as well, it links to kind of what Mark said about websites, and all of their residents actually have access to a kind of like my portal online, and if there was any street lighting out, or if there was garbage that had been left out, or things was just vandalized around the area, they could actually pinpoint that on a specific area on the map on the website, and they could say this street lighting is out and needs maintenance. And I thought that was a really good piece of good practice from when I seen that evidence. I'm not sure if anyone else has got anything like that at this stage.
Where you was talking about comms, Richard, we had a very small comms team, and it was identified that more staff were needed in the team, which we've now got. But our website, again, as Mark was saying, it needs a really good overhaul, and it's getting round to doing it. So what comms have now done is we've had like little training sessions with them, and they have given the specific people in various departments access, so they can actually go on and update the pages. Not complete total free reign, but by just going on and changing various bits and bobs, and it is helping keep things a bit more updated until it does have well, we're aiming to have a whole new website, but that takes time. But they've sort of given the responsibilities back to the departments to actually go on and maintain some of the pages, because again, customers were saying, well, your website says this, and we've actually said, well, no, it's not that anymore, because it was out of date. So they were the challenges we was having as well. So hopefully that will improve shortly too.
Alice or Isabel, would you agree about websites being one of the main issues we're being updated?
Yeah, we've updated our website a lot over the last year, and we had customers saying that they didn't know how to contact us, and you know, we don't have like a planning duty phone anymore, but what we've introduced is an inquiry form that if we can't answer the information on the website, which there's a lot more information, very detailed, very specific to specific planning queries, it then will send the inquiry form to our teams, and the relevant teams will deal with it.
Yeah, we have something quite similar where people can complete a form and we'll get back to them. Yeah, we use on our website, we have the rich text function, so that reads and translates what is on the website in different languages. But it can also run a report of any broken links that exist within the website. So can I just say it's not 100% foolproof in the sense that sometimes it tells you a link is broken and it isn't, but it's making us look more closely at what's happening. And our website officer is actually very good at, if he finds an issue with one page that needs updating, he'll then have a look at all the other pages that have got, keywords that are linked to that page that's been updated. So it's a lot of work, but he does that very well. But I'll say we found can I just say I've got no shares in the company, so I'm not particularly promoting them, but we found that the ReachDeck tool has been good for our service users, because if they don't speak English or don't read English, they can click on the little logo and it will read and translate the page.
I've not seen that one myself.
No,
It's called ReachDeck, but the company, don't ask me where it's called. The company has changed. It used to be called, I think, Text Help. But if you Google, or you can go and have a look on our website, and it's called ReachDeck, and we pay an annual subscription for that. But it's very good.
Our website has something similar called Recite Me. I've never used it myself, but I'm aware that that's another option of translating a web page.
I've not heard of that one myself either. Well, I've not utilised that. No. And do you use any AI on your website, such as chatbots?
We don't.
No,
Yeah,
we don't.
we use
At the moment,
web chat. So yeah, we have web chat loaded up on our pages, so which links into an officer.
And how do you feel that works, Mark?
It works really well, actually. But unfortunately, I haven't got a dedicated resource on it, so I have to switch it off now and again because it's so busy in the contact center, which isn't ideal, really. And it's not an integrated. I want it integrated with the telephony solution, really, so that you just get a contact and you whiz it out to an officer, rather than it's a standalone product that we use to do it. Therefore, I have to take somebody off the phone to manage it, which is a bit of a pain. But yeah, it works well when we've got it up and running, and you tend to find it's more generalized queries you get through it rather than more specific stuff. But yeah, it works pretty well.
Does anyone else have it in their minds to start looking at AI similar to how Mark's using it, or has it not gone past that conversation yet?
the web chat we are early next year, I believe. We're looking at trying to introduce that, but as within the telephony system, not as a standalone project.
I don't blame you, Tracy. Do it that way, it'd be much better.
That's what we're hoping for. So we will see.
Okay, great. Is anyone else looking at using the AI chatbot, Alice or Isabel?
Not that I'm aware of, but we're just a planning department, not the wider council.
Okay, great. Lorna, anything from yourself?
No, I think that was a good discussion and some great ideas shared. Thank you, everybody.
No, it's great. Does anyone have any questions for each other? No? Okay, that's great. So we'll start to bring the meeting to a close. So thank you everyone for your time and participating and engaging in today's discussion. Just as a reminder, as part of the support available from Assessment Services, we do offer pre-assessment surveys, and these can be issued to your staff, partners, and customers. And this is to build upon your actual assessment experience. There's no additional cost for that. And the idea is to create a greater breadth of feedback in your actual assessment and to get more added value from your assessment. The networking chats have been rebranded to the customer service collaborative forums. These will now take place every quarter. The next one is on the 4th of November, and this is about complaints handling. So again, it'll be good to see. It's at the typical time at 4 p.m, but this will be cross-sector. So anyone can attend. It won't be just be specific for local authorities. We've also created a customer service course that can be deliverable by your own internal staff. We've acknowledged that if you wanted a trainer, that would probably be the largest expense to your actual to your authority. So we can issue this to you as a license. It is a fixed fee of £750, and you can get your own trainer to deliver that, as opposed to if you've got a trainer, realistically, it's probably going to be delivered to about 12 people on the course. Whereas this approach, you can deliver this as many times as you want to your staff. So again, we can offer that. Please remember to sign up to the Assessment Services community if you've not already done this. As I said at the start, you can get access to the other recordings of the kind of old rebranded networking chats, as well as latest articles, snippets, and best practice ideas. It's continually evolving. We've recently created an engagement session on there, which links a little bit to what we've discussed about today with how you celebrate staff successes. So we put an engagement video on there yesterday afternoon, and this was a recording from University of the Arts London, who did some great things with how they celebrate their staff and organisational achievements. So the session, the recording does last about 10 minutes. So it'd be great if you could listen to it and provide your comments and experience with how you feel you celebrate your staff and organisational achievements. And the idea is we want people engaging, particularly for people who haven't been able to attend the collaborative forums. So that is a new field on the Assessment Services community. It's on the left-hand side under engagement sessions. We issue a monthly newsletter. It should have come out this past week. If you've not received that, please let us know, and we can just check that you're on the right list. But that is undertaken monthly. And then finally, the next local authority roundtable is probably likely to be around end of March, early April. We've acknowledged we want to do these biannually. When we originally started, we thought it would be annually, but we want to do this biannually. An opportunity to connect with your peers, share best practice, share current issues and trends. So a date will be issued shortly, but it's likely to be around late March, early April. But we will reach out to you, and it will also be on the newsletters. But has anyone got any questions from them?
Richard, yeah, quite interesting in the pre-assessment survey that you mentioned. Yeah. How can I access a copy or see how we organise this?
Yeah, would you like me to reach out to you directly after,
yeah.
And we can have a discussion?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much.
Okay, great. Thanks, Isabel. Okay, well, that brings the meeting to a close. Thank you, everyone, for attending and providing your input. Hopefully, you've all got something out of the discussion and you found it insightful. We will be bringing another one, like I said, in around about 6 months. And we look forward to seeing you then, hopefully. Well, thank you, everyone, for your time today, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks very much, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.